Hey everyone, I'm Joni from Ruby Webs. Today I will be showing you how to crochet the Denver beanie. This cozy texture beanie can be made in 4 sizes, from child to woman's large. The beanie is worked in the round from the crown down to the brim. Depending on the size you are making, you will need 1 to 2 skeins of Lion brand Vanna's Choice. This is a worsted weight size 4 yarn. For this beanie here, I use the color linen, and for this beanie, I use the color pale gray. You also need an H 5mm crochet hook, an I 5.5mm crochet hook, along with a yarn needle for weaving in your loose ends, scissors, a tape measure or ruler, and of course a faux fur pom to finish it off if you want that fun touch. You may also want to use a stitch marker to mark the first stitch of each round, but it's not required. I'm going to be making a child-size beanie today using this color called Fisherman. But before we begin, I do want to mention that the first 7 rounds of the written pattern are identical no matter which size you are making. At the end of each round, you'll see the stitch count in parentheses. These counts are the same for all sizes in rounds 1 through 7. Also, be sure to check your gauge at the end of round 5. Okay, so let's get started. We will begin with the magic ring, and we are going to start with an I 5.5mm hook. Okay, so to make the magic ring, you just hold your hand out like this. You're going to wrap the yarn around your fingers like that. Reach underneath that bottom strand and pull the top strand through. So now we are going to begin with the chain 2, and this does not count as a stitch. And at the end of this round, you'll just skip right over that chain 2 and slip stitch in the top of the first stitch. Okay, so we're going to place 8 double crochet in the ring. So there's 2. Okay, when you're making your double crochet, make sure you're also crocheting around the tail when you go into the ring. Okay, so now we're going to pull the end of that tail to close the ring, and you'll just make a slip stitch in the top of the first double crochet that you made. Okay, so round 1 should look like this. So in round 2, we will be adding another 8 stitches to our stitch count. And in this round, we will begin with a chain 1, and then we are just going to place 2 front post double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook from front to back to front around the post of the first stitch, yarn over, pull through your work, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so your first front post double crochet should look like this. So we're going to place another one in the same stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook from front to back to front around the post, yarn over, pull through your work, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we are just going to do this all the way around. So we'll place 2 front post double crochet in each stitch around, and we should end with a total of 16 stitches. should look like this so far. So I've done 6 front post double crochet. Okay, so I've got one more stitch left to work into. So 2 front post double crochet in that last stitch. Okay, now we're just going to join to the top of the first stitch with a slip stitch. So that's our chain 1. So we're going to slip stitch in the top of the first front post double crochet. Okay, so it should look like this. Be sure you have a total of 16 stitches. So in round 3, again, we'll begin with a chain 1. And we are going to work 1 front post double crochet in the first stitch, 2 front post double crochet in the next stitch. So we'll just do that all the way around. 1 in the next stitch, 2 in the next stitch. So I just did my chain 1. So front post double crochet in that first stitch, 2 front post double crochet in the next stitch, and in this round we are adding another 8 stitches to our stitch count, so we should end with a total of 24 stitches. Okay, front post double crochet in the next stitch, 2 front post double crochet in the next stitch, front post double crochet in the next stitch, 2 front post double crochet in the next stitch, front post double crochet in the next stitch, 2 front post double crochet in the next stitch, okay, so it should look like this so far. Front post double crochet in the next stitch, 2 front post double crochet in the next stitch, okay, so I've got 2 stitches left here to work into. So we're going to do a front post double crochet in the next stitch and then 2 front post double crochet in the last stitch. Okay, and slip stitch to the top of that first front post double crochet that you made. Okay, so round 3 should look like this. Okay, and be sure that you have 24 stitches at the end of round 3. From here, you'll just continue slowly increasing in the same way we've been doing. Since I'm making the child size, I'll be finished with my increases after round 7. So if you're making a larger size, you'll continue increasing until you've reached the correct round for your size. Again, be sure to check your gauge at the end of round 5. Once you are done increasing, you'll move on to round 10, where you will just work 1 front post double crochet in each stitch around. And I'm going to go ahead and work through that off camera, and I will be back after I complete round 10. I just finished with round 10, and this is what the piece should look like so far. I am making the child size, so I have 56 stitches. So in round 11, we will begin with the chain 1. And in this round, we are just basically making small cables all the way around. We will skip the first stitch, make a front post double crochet in the next stitch, and then come back in front of your work and make a front post double crochet in that stitch that you skipped. So skip the first stitch, front post double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and I am going to place a stitch marker in this stitch just to make it easier to see where we will join at the end of the round. Okay, now we're going to come back and make a front post double crochet in that first stitch that we skipped over. Okay, so it should look like this, and we're just going to do this all the way around. So you're going to skip the next stitch, front post double crochet in the next stitch, then come back and do a front post double crochet in the stitch that you skipped. So skip this next stitch, front post double crochet in the next stitch, come back in front of your work and make a front post double crochet in the skip stitch. Skip the next stitch, front post double crochet in the next stitch, and front post double crochet in the skip stitch. Okay, so we're just going to do this all the way around. This is what it should look like so far. All right, I'm going to keep going. I am going to keep going, and I will be back when I get to the end of this round. I'm coming to the end of round 11, so I have 2 stitches left. Oops. Okay, now I am ready to join to the first stitch, and I've marked that here with my stitch marker. Okay, so it should look like this. You can see the sides are actually starting to curl up. In the end, it will be curled the other way. And this is what the inside or the wrong side of the hat should look like at this point. So for round 12, we will place a front post double crochet in each stitch around. So we'll begin with the chain 1. And this can be a little tricky. You want to spread the little cable out, so you'll place your first front post double crochet in this stitch, which it's the stitch on the bottom of the cable, and then your next front post double crochet will be placed in this stitch. So we'll do that all the way around, just one front post double crochet in each stitch. So spread out the cable, front post double crochet, first stitch. And I am going to place a stitch marker in this stitch so we know where to join, just like we did last round. Front post double crochet in the next stitch, and that's the stitch on top of that cable. We're just going to do this all the way around. So front post double crochet in the next stitch, spread the cable out. It's the stitch on the bottom of the cable. Then front post double crochet in the next stitch, the stitch on top of the cable. Okay, so it should look like this. Let me show you a couple more. So spread the cable out, front post double crochet. Okay, now we do the front post double crochet in the stitch on top of the cable. Okay, so this is what it should look like, and you're just going to do this all the way around. So I will be back when I get to the end of this round. I'm coming to the end of round 12. I just worked the last 2 stitches, and I am ready to join. So I'm going to remove my stitch marker and slip stitch in the first stitch. Okay, now this part is really important. Slip stitch in the next stitch, and this is just a way to move 1 stitch over. That way we begin the next round 1 stitch over. So I'm going to slip stitch in this next stitch. Okay, so this is where I'm at. I'm in the top of this stitch here. Okay, now all we're going to do is repeat round 11. Chain 1. And then we're just going to make those small cables again. So you'll skip your first stitch, front post double crochet in the next stitch, and then come back over and make a front post double crochet in that skip stitch. So skip the first stitch, front post double crochet, then come back over and make a front post double crochet in that skip stitch. Okay, so it should look like this. Okay, let's do another. So skip this next stitch here, front post double crochet in the next stitch. And then come back and make a front post double crochet in the skip stitch. Okay, and this is what it should look like so far. I forgot to place my stitch marker in that first stitch. Okay, so skip this next stitch, front post double crochet in the next stitch, come back and make a front post double crochet in the skip stitch. Skip the next stitch, front post double crochet in the next stitch, then front post double crochet in the skip stitch. Okay, so you're just going to do this all the way around. This is what it should look like so far. So I'm going to keep going and I will be back when I get to the end of this round. So I am at the end of round 13 and I have 2 stitches left to work into. And remember, at the end of the last round, we had moved 1 stitch over. When you work the last 2 stitches, you're going to skip right over the chain 1 here from the previous round. So your last 2 stitches will be placed in this stitch, and then you will join to the top of your first stitch. So skip right over that chain 1 from the previous round. Okay, now we are ready to join with a slip stitch to the top of our first stitch. Okay, so that round 13 should look like this. I'm going to remove my stitch marker. So round 14, then you're just placing a front post double crochet in each stitch around. So you're just repeating round 12. So you want to spread your cables out. So we'll start with the chain 1, spread the cable out. You're working into this that first stitch on the bottom of the cable. This is just like we did before. Okay, the next front post double crochet will be in the stitch on the top of the cable. This is what it should look like so far. Okay, so you will just do this all the way around, and at the end of the round you will slip stitch in the top of your first stitch, and then do not forget to slip stitch in the next stitch, so you start the next round 1 stitch over. Like, that's very important. If you don't do that, you'll just have cables that will be running straight up and down. So after that, you will just repeat rounds 11 and 12, and I'm making the child size beanie, so I will repeat rounds 11 and 12 until my beanie measures 6.25 to 6.5 inches tall. So I'm going to keep working, and I will be back then to show you how to make the brim. I am just about ready to start on the brim. And this is what the hat should look like so far. I am making this for a younger child, so the hat should measure approximately 6.25 inches tall before I start making the brim. So let me measure. Okay, perfect. Okay, so for the brim, you will want to switch to an H 5mm hook, and we will begin with a chain 1. We're going to make a single crochet in the first stitch. Be careful in this round that you don't make your single crochet too tight, or it will make it harder to do the waistcoat stitch in the next round. So we're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch, Again, being very careful not to make it too tight. Make sure you don't yank at the end of the stitch. I'm going to zoom in. And then a back post double crochet in the next stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook from back to front to back around the post of that stitch, yarn over, pull through your work, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Single crochet in the next stitch. Again, being very careful not to make that stitch too tight. Back post double crochet in the next stitch. So this is what it should look like so far. Let me do a couple more. Single crochet in the next stitch, back post double crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, back post double crochet in the next stitch, okay, so this is what it should look like so far. So I am going to keep going, and I will be back when I get to the end of this round. I am on to round 2 of the brim, and we will begin with the chain 1. You're going to place the waistcoat stitch in the first stitch and then a back post double crochet in this next stitch. So a waistcoat stitch into this first single crochet and then a back post double crochet into this back post double crochet, and you'll just repeat that all the way around. So for the waistcoat stitch, you're going to go right into like the center of that single crochet, right into the V, and just make a single crochet. And be careful you don't make your stitches too tight or it makes it harder on the next round. Back post double crochet in the next stitch, waistcoat stitch in the next stitch, again go right into that V, back post double crochet in the next stitch, waistcoat stitch in the next stitch, again go right into that V, there we go. Okay, back post double crochet in the next stitch, waistcoat stitch in the next stitch, go right into that V and make a single crochet. Okay, so you will just keep doing this all the way around. So you'll do a back post double crochet in the next stitch, waistcoat stitch in the next stitch, back post double crochet in the next stitch. Just repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to keep going, and I will be back when I get to the end of this round. I am at the end of round 2 of the brim. I've got 2 stitches left to work into, so I'm going to do the waistcoat stitch in this next stitch, and then a back post double crochet in the last stitch. I'm going to join to the top of my first stitch. Okay, so you will just repeat round 2. I'm going to make this for a younger child, so I will repeat round 2 until my beanie measures 7.25 inches long. So you will just repeat round 2 until the beanie measures 7.25 to 7.75 for a child, 8 inches long for a woman small, 8.25 inches to 8.5 inches long for a woman's medium, and 8.75 inches to 9 inches long for a woman's large. So I'm going to keep going, and I will be back when I get finished with my brim. I just finished with the brim, and this is what it should look like up close. And I am making this hat for a younger child, and my hat measures approximately 7.25 inches long. Okay, so be sure you weave in your loose end, and then if you want to attach a faux fur pom to the top of your hat, go ahead and do that. This hat does look really cute without a pom too, so that's totally up to you. But I hope you've enjoyed the pattern. Thank you so much.